Chapter 2 of The Golden Canyon by G.A. Henty. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Dick's Escape. When Dick opened his eyes, it was broad daylight. He was lying in a barely furnished room. A surgeon was leaning over him, bandaging his wounds, while on the other side of the bed stood 3 red-shirted men, whose rough beards and belts with bowie knives and pistols showed them to be miners. One of them had his face strapped up and his arm in a sling. An exclamation of satisfaction burst from him as Dick's eyes opened. "That is right, lad. You will do now. It has been touch and go with you all night. My life ain't no particular value to nobody, but such as it is, you have saved it. But I won't talk of that now. Which ship do you belong to? We will let them know at once." "The Northampton," Dick said in a whisper. "We will get your friends here in no time." But when Mr. Allen came ashore, Dick was again unconscious. The mate fetched 2 more surgeons, who, after conferring with the first, were all of opinion that although he might possibly recover from his wounds, weeks would elapse before he would be convalescent. Before night fever had set in, and it was a fortnight before he was again conscious of what was passing round him. He looked feebly round the room. One of the red-shirted men was attending to a pot over a charcoal fire. Turning his head, he saw, standing, looking out of the window, his friend Tom Haldane. "Hello, Tom," he said in a whisper, which, however, reached the midshipman's ears. He turned sharply round and hurried to the bedside. "Thank God, Dick, you are conscious again. Don't try to talk, old fellow. Drink this lemonade, and then shut your eyes again." Dick tried to raise his hand to take the glass, but, to his surprise, found he was unable to do so. Tom, however, put it to his lips and poured it down his throat. It was cool and pleasant, and with a sigh of relief he again closed his eyes and went off into a quiet sleep. When he awoke it was evening, the window was open, and the fresh air came in, making the lamp on the table flicker. "How do you feel now, old man?" Tom asked. "I feel all right," he said, "but I am wonderfully weak. I suppose I must have lost a lot of blood. Has the skipper given you leave to stop with me for the night?" Tom nodded. "I will tell you all about it in the morning, Dick. There is some chicken broth Dave has been cooking for you. You must try and drink a bowl of it, and then by tomorrow morning you will be feeling like a giant." Dick laughed feebly. "It will be some time before there is much of a giant about me, Tom, but I feel as I could drink some broth." The next morning Dick woke feeling decidedly stronger. "Raise me up and put some pillows behind me, Tom. It is horrid being fed from a spoon lying on one's back." The man called Dave, and Tom, lifted him up as he wished, and then the latter fed him with the broth, in which some bread had been crumbled. "Now then," Dick said when he had finished, "let us hear what the old man said. I suppose he was in a tremendous rage?" "That he was. A brute." "Why, there is my chest. What has he sent that ashore for? I should think I could be taken on board again today." "You won't be taken on board the Northampton," Tom said, "for by this time she is down somewhere near Cape Horn." "Eh?" Tom exclaimed in astonishment. "Why? How long have I been here?" "A fortnight today, Dick." Dick was too surprised to make any remark for some time. "But if the Northampton is gone, how is it that you are here, Tom?" "Simply because she has gone without me, Dick. The old man was in a furious rage when he heard in the morning what had happened to you. Of course we were in a great stew. I mean the third mate and myself. When Allen came off at 12 o'clock without you, after waiting an hour and a half at the wharf for you to turn up, we all felt sure that something must have happened, or you would never have been all that time late. There was a row between Allen and the skipper the first thing in the morning. Allen wanted to go ashore to make inquiries about you, and the old man would not let him, and said that no doubt you had deserted. but that if you came on board again, he would have you put in irons. Well, there was a regular row going on when a boat came off with a man in a red shirt, who I know now is one of Dave's partners, and said that you were desperately wounded and that the Spanish doctor they had called in thought you would die. So then the old man couldn't help Alan's going ashore. Of course he could do nothing, as you were insensible, but he got 2 other surgeons. Their opinion was that you would never get over it, but that if you did, it would be a long time first. When Alan got back, there was another row. He wanted to have you brought on board. The captain said that as you had chosen to mix yourself up in a row on shore, you might die on shore for anything he cared. Then I asked for leave to stay with you when the vessel sailed, and got sworn at for my pains. In the afternoon, I filled up your chest chock full with as many of my things as I could get into it, and sent it ashore. By the next night, we had got all the cargo on board, and were to sail by the next morning, and I lowered myself down and swam ashore. Alan had told me exactly where you were lying, so I came here at once and told Dave who I was, and why I had come ashore, and as soon as it was light, he took me round to the room the other 2 had. The captain came ashore in the morning and stormed and raved at the consuls, but he had better have kept on board. I told our friends here all about it, and as he went back to the boat again, one of them pitched into him and gave him such a tremendous licking that I hear he had to be carried on board. As soon as he got on board, the Northampton sailed. So you see, here we both are. I have written off to your father and mine, giving them a full account of the whole affair, and saying what a brute Colette had been on the whole voyage. They will be sure to lay the letters before the firm, and as Allen and Smith will, when they are questioned, speak out pretty straight. You may be sure the old man and his friend, the first mate, will have to look for a berth somewhere else. It was awfully good of you to come ashore to nurse me, Tom. Bosh! Why, I have got away from the Northampton. I found, too, that as far as nursing was concerned, I might as well have stayed on board, for Dave here and his 2 mates have, one or other of them, have been with you night and day, and they could not have taken more care of you if they had been women. Still, I have been very glad to be here, though till 3 days ago there seemed very little hope of your pulling through it. Now you have talked enough, or rather I have talked enough, Dick, and you had better turn over and get another sleep. End of chapter 2.